Okay. Yesterday we're in the concluding today the Perek Meruba. So yesterday the machlokus existed between the Chashmonaim kings Aristobulus and Hyrcanus, and they were fighting and again internal struggles. Uh, they used to go ahead and lower a bucket. They would put money in the bucket and lower it down. With the money, they would buy animals and they would bring them. And a person who understood Chachma Yavanis, he went ahead and told him, as long as you're going to do this, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be successful. And therefore they sent up a pig, and they cursed anyone who would go ahead and be Megadol Chazerim in Eretz Yisrael. And we ended off as a result, since the siege of the city was so severe, they had to go ahead and send to get Fishtei Lechem and the Omer a great distance. And the Gemara will explain a little bit Chachma Yavanis. Now Rashi says, fellas, Chachma Yavanis does not refer to philosophy, Greek philosophy. Chachma Yavanis, Rashi says, means that it was the language that was used by the kings. Kings had a language that, I don't know if it's the King's English, they say there's a term, the King's English right now. I'm saying, but it's the language that they used to use. So that was Chachma Yavanis. And this person understood the language and was able to transmit it. And as a result, it led to this. On the bottom, we're on the bottom of Pei Beis Amid Beis. Chachma Yavanis miasira. Is it us to go ahead and teach your child Chachma Yavanis? But Tanya, Amar Rebbe, Beretz Yisrael, Lashon Sursi. In Eretz Yisrael, they had Lashon, Taisa says Aramaic, or different type of slag of Aramaic. Lama, or Lashon Kodesh, either Lashon Kodesh or Lashon Yavanis. We don't need this corrupt language of Aramaic. It was a conversion of Aramaic in Eretz Yisrael. We have Lashon Kodesh, or we have Lashon Yavanis. So, what do you see, fellas? That Lashon Yavanis was permitted. And the half meaning of the Gemara is there's no difference between Lashon Yavanis and Chachmas Yavanis. From Rabbi Yosef, bubble Lashon Arami, Lama, why in bubble mini Lashon Arami? Or Lashon Kodesh or Lashon Parsi? Rashi says Lashon Parsi is a final language than Aramaic. Right? So that's the bottom line, guys. You say Lashon Yavani. So you see that what? That why do you tell me you can't speak Chachmi Yavanis? You said in Eretz Yisrael, either Lashon Kodesh or Lashon Yavanis. And the half meaning again of the Gemara is that Chachmi Yavanis and Lashon Yavanis are synonymous. Says the Gemara, Ami, Lashon Yavani L'chud, Chachma Yavanis L'chud. Chachma Yavanis L'chud and the Lashon Yavanis L'chud. It's two things. Look at Rashi, guys. Chachma Yavanis, 4 lines down. B'nei Paltin, the children of the palace, Hakrayvim L'malchus, Misaprim Ba, they would speak it. That's the way Rashi says. The Rambam seems to say that it's certain remuzim. It's like certain means of certain body movements and gestures that people of the know knew. So that would explain the Gemara yesterday. They understood they wouldn't openly say it, but they gestured, So again, it's not what it is not is Greek mathematics and the chachma of Yavonis. That it's not, Dr. Press. It's not. It's much more simple than that. It seems to be either a language or a gesture. It's a means of communication. Either way, whichever it is, Rashi or the Rambam, it's kind of a means of communication rather than Greek culture and whatnot.
Maybe they had sign language back then.
What? Why are you making such funny noises outside? Anyway, you have to announce yourself.
Tom, good night.
Okay. Says the Gemara, the Chachmi Yavanis mi asira, is Chachmi Yavanis, is it aser? V'am Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, mishum Rav Shimon Gamliel, right? In the name of Rav Shimon Gamliel, pasuk says, Rav Shimon Gamliel is referring to himself, Eini oilala l'nafshi mikol b'nois iri. It's on me you should cry. On me you should cry. And it's repulsive, right? It's repulsive. All but I see the tears in my eyes of what happened to my city more than any other person in my city. Why? Elf Yuladim Hoya Beisaba. My mishpacha, there were 1,000 children. Chamesh Meyas Lomdu Torah, 500 learned Torah. Chamesh Meyas Lomdu Chachmas Yivanis, and 500 learned Chachmas Yivanis. Only I, Kan, Uben Achi Abba, and the son of my brother Abba in Asya. And everyone else was killed. But the bottom line is, what do we need from this line? You see, 500 of them knew Chachma Yavanis. So how can you tell me that it's us that learn Chachma Yavanis? 500 of the again. Just remember, Rabbi was the Nasi. Rabbi Gamliel was the Nasi. He was the direct descendant of David HaMelech. So Amri, shiny base Rabbi Gamliel, it's different. Shahaya Kroivim Lamalchus. They were carved to the king, and therefore it was necessary for them to know Chachma Yavanis, which would be very nice with Rashi's Pshat, fellas. This was the language of the king. So since they had interaction with the kings to be able to speak their language was necessary. But it's not a regular person not.
Well, so half the family that learned Torah, why did they get killed?
What?
Half the family that learned Torah, why did they get killed?
They didn't get killed for Chachma Yavanis.
I know that, but why did they die?
They got killed. It's a site to Gemaisa. Whenever they got killed, they were killed. Who knows the reason they got killed?
The point I'm trying to make is that if they died and the other ones died, maybe it had nothing to do with what they were learning.
No, the point you're making is not a point. Excuse me. I'll explain why. All we ask the kasher is they were taught Chachma Yavanis. You're taking it one more step and saying, and that was wrong. That wasn't wrong, Meya. They were allowed to learn Chachma Yavanis, and that's not why they died. So your question is a perception is based upon a false perception.
Right. Okay.
Does that make any sense to you?
Yes.
I know you jumped a step.
I got it.
You're not supposed to learn Chachma Yavanis. Fred the Gemara, they did, but not to say that they did something wrong. It was permitted. And the answer is because they were close to the king. And now why there was churban, who knows what else? There was always problems with goyim and interaction with goyim, and they were killed. Okay, but it's not because they learned. I'm sorry if I was a little harsh.
No. You explained it well. Thank you.
Benji's from Puerto Rico sings he's not sorry at all. He said I was too easy. He said I was too easy on you.
Exactly, not harsh enough.
Thank you.
That's because Benji's been studying the wisdom of Puerto Rico.
Benji, you have to say it in Spanish. Okay, anyway, so we see that there was certain heterim for people who had what to do with the government. And one of them was the Chachma Yavanis. Another one is Hamisaper, is a koimi. It's some type of haircut. I don't know exactly what it was, but it's Darchi Amari. It was a Goyish haircut. I was in Darchi Amari. Mamish Darchi Amari is about the Zara. If you take this haircut, it's about the Zara. I've told Miss Baruvain, the Tirulay the Sapakumi. However, I've told Miss Baruvain, the son of Ruvain, they permitted him to have this cut because he was close to the Malchus. So again, you see that for a person to fit in and look a certain way and communicate a certain way was permitted. And also the Shalbeis Rabbi Gamliel, the Tirulem, the Sapachach v'Yavanis, they Shekrai from the Malchus. They were close to the Malchus, and therefore they permitted him to go ahead and speak Chachma Yavanis. Okay, now we spoke about in the Mishnah, a person should not have a dog unless it's chained. Now again, not speaking about small dogs, and speaking about, but again, it's very. I find it fascinating that in my childhood I didn't know anyone who had a dog. I didn't know anyone who has a dog, and now it's a common, very, very common thing for Jews to have dogs. Right? It's a very common thing. Right? Well, because you can't eat it. Anyway, so it's a common thing. I'm suggesting or surmising it's from this halacha that was brought down, this takana that you don't have dogs. In Yerushalayim, didn't have dogs, and extended that. So, as part of Jewish culture, there wasn't dogs. I mean, it would make a lot of sense, right? It would extend from over here. Unless it's tied with a chain. With a chain. Let's say he's in a border town in the frontier, and it's you're worried about goyim and coming over the border. So then, as a guard dog, it was permitted. And however, you'd have to tie it up during the day, umatir b'layla, and let it out at night. So it wasn't like just to go ahead and let it roam around. It was something that you had to watch out for. Again, Rashi brought in the Mishnah, fellas, that the reason why you couldn't have a dog is that the dog is going to bark and might cause a woman to miscarry. That's what we said in the Rashi we saw in the Mishnah, right? Rashi in the Mishnah said that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, says I wasn't. Anyone who raises dogs is like they're raising what? Pigs. We said that they cursed the person who would go ahead right and raise pigs. So this person also would be chal or. In other words, he would be chayiv nidui, guys. But chal or means he'd be chayiv nidui excommunication. Amrav Yosef bar Menyumi, Amrav of Nachman, b'chol ha'ir hasmuch l'sfar dami. Right, Bavel is like a city that's smuch l'kfar, and therefore you'd be able to have dogs because again it's surrounded by goyim. In Adoi, Tigmur ben Adoi, Rabbi Yosef bar Menyumi said to Rav Nachman, his kavanah was the city of Nadoi in Bavel, which was samach to the Gevul, and therefore why it's be permitted to go ahead and have a guard dogs over there because of the concern of goyim. Dorish Rav Dustoi the min Biri, like he came from this town called Biri, Ubenucha Yaimar, Shuva Hashem, Rivervoice Alpha Yisrael. So Rivervoice Alpha Yisrael is 22,000, right? That the Shechina should go ahead and be on Rivervoice Alpha Yisrael. Lamdecha, Shena Shechir Shayr al Yisrael, Pachas Mishnei Alaf, Mishnei Rivervoice, 22,000. That's where you need the Shechina. Places brings, I thought, 10, right? Guys, Gemara and Brachas, when 10 people come together, the Shechina is there. So I said, there's different levels of Ashras Hashmina. It's an obvious teretz. B'chaser achas, let's say you're missing one, right? You're missing one. Let's say you have 21,100 999. 21,999. You're missing one person, right? And Ruyil Hashlam, that baby that's there would make it 22,000. Good. And the dog would bark, the pilu, and she would miscarry. Nimsa zegoyim l'shchina shetishalach misrael. This dog caused the shchina, this level of ashras shchina, to leave Klal Yisrael. This level, amazing thing. The impact of one baby. It's this story. There's this woman who was pregnant. The ulsa lamefa bahade besa. She entered a house with permission to use an oven. Novach bakalba, and there was a dog in the house, and it barked. Amalei Maria, the owner of the house, told this woman, "Leitislavei minoi, don't be scared of it. Shekile nive, I took out its nive, its teeth. There's a teeth that you worry about, the canines. I took it out." So Amalei, so the Isha told the owner of the dog, "Shekili tuvasach, take your good, b'shadya achsire, and throw it on the thorns." In other words, it's too late. That's take your a different vernacular. I felt what? I felt the baby already, it barked, and already I felt the baby disengage, and therefore I'm going to miscarry. So again, there is something scary about a barking dog, especially if not ready for it. Any person nishboin liyonim. We said LNK marchik min yishuv. How much? Shleishim ris. Guys, shleishim ris is 8,000 amas. Guys, shleishim ris is 8,000 amas. Good. So now, umi asli kule hai. Can pigeons fly so much? I can't say pigeons. It's really doves. Can doves fly so much? But Tanan, we said in the Mishnah, marchikin es hashoivich min ha'ir chamishim ama. If you have a city, you distance your dovecote 50 amas, not 8,000 amas, guys. Not 8,000 amas, 50 amas, and that's enough. So you see that pigeons can only fly doves can only fly what? 50 and not more than that. Says the Gemara, no. Amrabaya, Meshet Shoya too, but they can fly more than that. They can fly as far as Shleishim Ris, 8,000 amas. Abel Kresle b'chamishim amamalya. In other words, they'll only eat up to 50. So guys, what are you worried about? Guys, eye contact. What are you worried about? If they're within in point A in the city within 50 amas, they're going to eat. They're going to eat that. So up to 50 amas, they'll eat. Beyond that, so they can fly beyond that, but they're not going to eat more than that. So if you're distant 50, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, that's what the Gemara says. So they can fly up to 8,000 amas. That's shleishim ris, but they'll only eat 50 amas in the first 50. All they could go ahead is fly 8,000 amas. But Tanya, b'yishuv, in the place of a yishuv where there's a settlement, afilu meya mil la yifreis, even 100 mil, right? 100 mil is 2,000 would be 2,000, right? A mil is 200, 2,000, 20,000 would be. Meya mil la yifreis. right? Even Meir Mil you shouldn't catch because they can go ahead Rod and fly so far. And Shloshim is only Arba Mil. So it's if Arba Mil is it's 200,000. Rabbi Yosef says B'Yishuv Kramim is speaking about when can it fly so far? Guys, if it's a yishuv of vineyards, so the dove goes from vineyard to vineyard, then normally to fly without anything in between, it can fly only 30. But if you have in between this krumim, then it can fly up to 100 mil. Rabbi says, B'yishuv shivachim. It's a place where they have a yishuv of a bunch of dovecotes over there, and they fly from the coat to coat to coat to coat. But typically, Yishum Shayf can go fayu, right? You say it's asa to be lifris the kafayim, the yoinim themselves that they own. Why does the price have to say the shear that you have to distance from the yishuv? It's mashma that the reason you have to distance is because of the yoinim of the air. What about the yoinim itself? You have to distance the yoinim in order that they shouldn't be captured. You have to distance for themselves. That the yoinim, those yoinim shouldn't be captured. So by saying the shvaychim of kechavim. In other words, you're worried they're going to be captured. It's speaking about the kechavim. We should be able, I guess, take it back from, right? Yeah. Yeah. In other words, if the guy takes it, you'll be able to take it back. Now, we have a sugya rucha, guys. At the end of the Masechta is gezel akamas or not. So it's mashum here that's gezel's mutter because I'm not worried about it. And he says that they don't bring a raya. They say it's not good because it's only the Rabbanan over here. Even from Yisrael, you're able to take it back. You don't take it back as dark as shalom. It's your dove. It flies to somebody else's coop. It's literally not gezel. It's yours, but you can't take it back as dark as shalom. It's speaking about shevchim of hefka. It's speaking about here. He has a bunch of them, and therefore we're not worried that if they're captured. But so Hajjan Lechem Aruba, Hajjan Lechem Aruba, Hajjan Lechem Aruba. Okay, the next parak is parak HaChayvel. Right? Yes, this is Mazel Tov on the Siyam Art Scroll number 2. Right? Now we're gonna have yeah.
How do you use this?
Right, yeah, that's the Vilna side. That's it was printed. Okay. Okay. Anyway, we dealt with Niskei Mammon, right? We dealt with your property doing damage. We dealt with your property doing damage, right? My property goes ahead, it does damage, I got to pay. Shar bar ma beheva. We dealt with Adam that damages. Adam that damages property. Adam that damages a person's field. Adam that damages a person's shar. We dealt with that. We have not dealt with Adam that damages Adam. We have not dealt with the Adam damaging an Adam. That's called a chayvel b'chaveroi. And one who damages an Adam is chayiv in 5 payments: nezek, tsar, ripi, sheves, and baishes. We met that earlier in the Masechta. We said a shar does not pay. Ish kitay mum ba'misay, ish ba'misay, v'shar ba'misay. That a shar does not pay. And this is what this parak is about. Tonight's daf is to describe the payment, and the limudim of the famous limud of ayin tachas ayin, right? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Okay, and that's so that's lacharab. It's not Baruch Hashem. It's a nice, much easier go than Meruba. Right? A person goes ahead and he's chayvel his friend. He hits his friend. Does not kill him. He hits him. If he damages him, he's chayiv 5 things. Benezek, tsar. Nezek, we're going to see, is damages. Tsar is pain. Ripu is the doctor bills. Shevis is disability. Boishus is if he's embarrassment. Benezek ketzad. How do you go ahead and evaluate nezek? Ketzad. Simes einoi, if you blind him. Kata es yodai, if you cut off his hand. Shiber es ragloi, you break his leg. Roinoi say, you view him kilu hu eved nimcha b'shuk. You view him as a slave that can be sold in the marketplace. B'shamin, and you evaluate kama hu yafa v'kama hu yafa. How much would a person pay for this person with an arm, and how much would you pay without an arm? And that's the nezek. That's the damage. How much a person would pay with a person who doesn't have a broken foot and or one eye, whatever it is. Right, that's the diff. That's nezek. That's you pay nezek. Sar, how do you go ahead and evaluate sar? It's kva'oi. Right, you make a burn b'shvud with a hot spit. Oi b'masmer, or you hit him with a masmer, some type of iron implement. Va'afilu al siparnoi, and even in a place where there's not going to be a wound, malchum shein oisach habura. Nonetheless, you evaluate kama adam yoytze bezeh, right? Roitze litel liyos mitzstar kach. How much would a person in l'chayra would be willing to pay for this pain? Now, it's fair to say, I mean, they do say this that yeah, it's very subjective, right? It is very subjective. It is very right.
It's subjective and the law also, because if guy has a family, let's say, right, that might be. His family can't get out of that. It's not like an ethic. Right,
That's not subjective, there's a definite amount.
But why is it like an ethic though? That's what I'm saying. If every person is different, you know.
Okay, so now let's say a person, you go over to the guy and say, listen, I want to cut off your arm. How much? No person in the world is going to do that. Okay, so here, let's say a guy was stealing. And there's countries, if you steal, they cut off your hand, right? Now, there's two ways you can get it cut off. You can get cut off with a sword, or you can get cut off with a little anesthesia. How much should you pay? That's the tsar. How much would a person be willing to pay to be mitzvah? But again, it's not like it doesn't make any sense, right? That a person would go ahead and evaluate how much a person would go ahead and be willing to undergo pain. No person in his right mind will do that. The Gemara will discuss that. Okay, so that's tsar. Ripui is right. Ripui is the doctor bill. What he charges. If you hit him, chayiv to pay his medicinal expenditures. All the boy tzmachim as a result in a makkah. Let's say wounds come back. In machvas makkah chayiv, he has to continue paying. Im shlei machvas makkah, if it's a new thing, then maybe potter. Chaysa, if it got cured, vinistra and it came back. Chaysa got cured, vinistra came back. Chayiv l'rapaisai, right? Chaysa kol tzarchay. However, if it gets cured to the point of no return because it's cured, then chayiv l'rapaisai. Sheves, what sheves? A disability. Now, here you can't pay him for what he was worth. Let's say he's a strapping guy, right? Let's say in your case, relativity, really strong guy could really make a lot of money as an eved, right? So now you're not going to pay. You already evaluated the nezek, so you can't say, well, I'm disability. As I could have worked the fields and made a fortune of money working the fields. I'm saying, I'm picking an example, but you paid that already. That's nezek. So Sheva's disability is, what could this person do with a disability? Let's say he could be a cucumber watcher. He could be a scarecrow. So how much he would lose being a scarecrow, right? That's what he's worthy to do. So Sheves, you see him as what? He watches gourds and because you already gave to him the value of his hand and the value of his foot. So you already paid Nesek already, guys. You paid Nesek already. Okay, that evaluation went in.
You're saying that if he makes $200, if he was making $200 a week.
But give me a job. What's his job? What's his job? Okay, he's a salesman. Okay, let's say he's a salesman. Now, how much? It's not really good because now it's a hard thing to qualify. It's a hard thing to qualify. How much a person would be sold in the slave market as a salesman, not a salesman? Understand? That's hard to qualify. That's hard to qualify. But let's say the following. Say, okay, he's a good salesman, right? Let's say you hurt him in his tongue. So now you evaluate how much he could make as a salesman, and now he can't make that money anymore because why? Because he doesn't have a tongue. Right? You paid that already. Good. Now you want to pay disability. But one second, you already paid damages for what he once was, right? So now disability, you view him as, what could this person do? A person without a tongue. Well, again, he can't communicate to people, but I got a good job for him. He'll sit in the fields, and if the animals come along, he'll chase them away. That he could do. But now he can't do it because he's injured or something, right? So that's the shevis you pay. The disability, that seems to be a set price. The shevis is disability of what a person, understanding in life. Boishes, that's a kolafi hamavayish, the hamispayish, because according to the one who is embarrassing and the one who's being embarrassed. If it's right, if the lower the person, I guess the bigger the embarrassment, right? And the higher the person, the less the embarrassment is. And the higher the person, the more the person who gets embarrassed. The lower the person, the less embarrassment. In other words, when it comes to the one embarrassing, then the lower person is more embarrassing. When it comes to being embarrassed, then the higher person is more. Okay, so that would be relative. Okay, we will discuss all these things. Okay, I sent out on the phone. This is important. This is the parsha under discussion. This is Perik Chaf in Perik Chaf Dalin in Vayikra. Perik Chaf Dalin in Vayikra. And it says, most humus, a person that kills another person should die. Someone who kills an animal pays nefesh tachas nefesh. And a person who places a mum in his friend, as you do to him, as he did to you, you do to him. Sheva tachas sheva, a breakage on the breakage. Ayin tachas ayin, shein tachas shein. Kashiyitim mum adam ken yinas loy. And finally, umaka behemi shalmena, umaka adam yumas. Okay, so we need these psukim for alimudim over here. Okay, these psukim, they'll come in for limudim. Okay, says the Gemara. The obvious question is, when you blind somebody, we make an evaluation based upon what he's be able to be sold in the slave market. Making an evaluation based upon what he's to be sold in the slave market. Says the Gemara, "Mai ayin tachas ayin amrachmana, ema ayin mamish." Say ayin mamish, guys. Yeah, an eye for an eye. I'm sure that tzedaikim would take out the guy's eye, right? An eye for an eye. Says Merloy sal kedaitach. The Tanya, yachal, I might think sima es einai, misama es einai. If he goes ahead and blinds someone, you blind him. Kat es yadai, mikatei es yadai, shiba es ragloi, mishaba es ragloi. Now, does that make sense, guys? Does this make sense to you? Now, I'll tell you why it doesn't. You seem to say to yourself, well, it seems to be, it's not being in the other guy's eye back, right? It's like shtickle revenge, correct? Good. If you kill somebody, you understand getting killed? Right? If you kill someone's eye, if you kill someone's leg, if you kill someone's arm. In other words, let's view a body part the same as the whole. Let's view the part as some of the whole, right? So let's view it as, taken that way, we can understand it. In other words, you killed his eye, you killed his leg, you killed his arm. So I would think it makes sense to take it off. So in that we say, the pasuk says in my midbar, it says, "Leisiku koifer lenefesh reitzeach." Do not take a monetary payment for the nefesh of a murderer. Asher hu rosh shalamus lenefesh reitzeach yatu lekeach koifer. You don't take a monetary payment for a murderer. Avalatu lekeach koifer lerosh evarim. You would take a monetary payment for rosh evarim shein chaytim that don't come back, right? That don't come back. Good. There's a very fabulous, very Vilna going. That's a shtika oinis that you probably heard of. If you didn't hear it, it was kedai to come to share to hear it. And if you did hear, I'm just reminding you. Ayin tachas ayin. What's the letter tachas ayin? But after an ayin comes what? A fei. Ayin fei, right? Right. What's yud? Is a chaf. Nun is a samach. What is kesef? Ayin tachas ayin. You pay what? Kesef, the letters that are tachas ayin. Ayin tachas ayin. You pay ayin. What are you paying? Tachas ayin. You heard this. Everyone had it, right? No? Could I come hearing it? You heard this? No? Kvaldi. Okay, so ayin tachas ayin. Here, Dr. Press. Ayin tachas ayin. It's really it's a great limud. Now, the Gemara has a problem. What exactly? Which makkah? There's a lot of makkahs over here, guys, right? There's a makkah here, there's a makkah here, there's a lot of makkahs over here. Which Which are you learning from? What are you learning from over here? So says the Gemara. Fred the Gemara. Hi Maka. Which Maka other Maka Behema are you speaking about? You're telling me just like an animal pays tashlumin, so too a man pays tashlumin. Okay, so let's take the first chance. Maka Behema Yishalmena Umaka Adam Yumas. Where's that? Okay, that's Pasik Chaf Aleph, guys, right? Pasik Chaf Aleph. Maka Behema Yishalmena, you pay money. Maka Adam, you pay money. It says you must, right? But maybe it means it doesn't mean literally. It says the Gemara 1 second. Hahu b'katolikassiv. That's speaking mat where you kill somebody. That's where Maka Adam you must is where you kill somebody. So obviously it can't be speaking about money, guys. That's pasuk chaf aleph, right? That's speaking about Maka Behem. You killed an animal. Maka Adam, you killed a man. You must. So it's not chavala. It's not chavala. Ella. The Gemara says which Maka must be mehacha. Maka nefesh behem yishalmena nefesh tachas nefesh. Okay, guys, let's go to pasuk yudches. Guys, pasuk yudches. Maka nefesh behema yishalmena nefesh tachas nefesh. Maka nefesh behema will pay nefesh tachas nefesh. So now we have, if you hit an animal, right? So, but it's not speaking out Adam, is it, guys? Guys, what do we need? We need a relationship between the hakah of a man and the hakah of an animal. Just like when a man hits an animal, he pays, so too when he damages a man, he pays. Good? Guys, good? Guys, wake up. Just like when a man damages an animal, he pays, so too when he damages what? Another man, he pays. So now, Pasuk Chaf Aleph would have been Geshmak. Why? Because you had both hakah. Maka behema, Maka Adam. You had both damages, but however, it wasn't damaging, it was murder. So therefore, it can't be, that's the pasuk. So what must the pasuk be? It must be pasuk Yudches. Maka behema nefesh behema yishalmena nefesh tachas nefesh. But 1 second, it only speaks about damaging an animal in pasuk Yudches. It doesn't speak at all about damaging an Adam, damaging an Adam. Correct? That's the next pasuk. Juxtaposed to it is pasuk Yudches. The ish kiyite mumba misai. If a man places a mumba misai, kashaskina. So just like pasuk Yudches, maka nefesh behema, you pay money. So too pasuk Yudches, when a man damages another man, you pay money. Now the problem is we said maka maka. Where do you see in pasuk Yudches the lashon of maka? You don't. You see the lashon kiyite. That's going to be Gemara's next problem. Says the Gemara. So must be. Maka nefesh beim yishalmen and nefesh tachas nefesh for samichle ish kiyite mumba misay kasha asa kenya yasaloi. So now you have you're very very geshmak, right? Says Gemara, lav makahu. 1 second, that's not maka. We thought the Gezerah Shava was maka. So in pasuk Chaf Aleph, guys, you had maka behema, maka adam. You had the same lashon. Over here, you don't have the same lashon. By animal, you say maka. By adam, you say kiyite. The lashon of nesina. Are you with me, guys? Are you with me? Good. Okay. So now says the Gemara, you're right. I never meant maka. You know what I meant? I meant damage. I meant damage. Says the Gemara. Haka minon. I meant maka by animal and kiyite mum. Mahaka mur bebehemel tashlumin and pasuk yudches. Af haka amar ba'adam tashlumin. So too the ish kiyitain, the mum that he's putting is tashlumin. Fred the Gemara v'kasiv ish kiyake kol nefesh adam mos yumas. Right? We have a pasuk Yud Zayin, guys. Pasuk Yud Zayin. Ish kiyake kol nefesh adam mos yumas. You see that a person hits another person, he dies. Says the Gemara b'mamin. That's speaking about money. Says if we make a hekesh to makish beim yishalmena, okay, guys, let's look at the psukim, and I'm going to go through what we just did. Okay, let's look at the psukim and let's go through what we just did. The Mishnah said if you damage another person, it's a monetary payment. The Gemara is ayin tachas ayin. Said the Gemara. It says we have a pasuk in by a murderer like sikach choy from lesher seach. Therefore, it can't be speaking about that you know it's not an eye. It's you don't take a monetary payment for what you don't take a monetary payment for murderer, you do take away for tashlumin. Now, where's the source for this? That it's monetary payment for tashlumin. It's an animal. It's a relationship. Just like if you damage an animal, you pay. So too, if you damage an adam, you pay. The Gemara first went to Pasuk Chaf Aleph. Pasuk Chaf Aleph said, "Maka behema yishalmena, maka adam yumas." So just like maka that says by behema means tashlumin, so to the maka it says by adam means tashlumin. Says the Gemara, this pasuk is not speaking about tashlumin; it's speaking about when you killed somebody. It's not speaking about nesek at all. Okay, so I'll tell you what it is. Pasuk Yitches. Maka nefesh behem yishalmena, nefesh tachas nefesh. So we establish pasuk Yitches you're going to pay. So to pasuk Yitches you're going to pay. Vishki yitei mumban misay kashe asa like he did ken yasaloi. You're going to pay what money? You're going to pay money. You said maka, and there's no maka but in your test. Said the Gemara, I didn't mean maka, I meant hakah. Says the Gemara, why did you have to jump to this pasuk? Pasuk Zion says lashon of maka. Vishki yaka kol nefesh adam mois yumas. Says the Gemara, that's speaking about what, mammon? That's speaking about money. So therefore, maybe it's speaking about death. Says the Gemara, no, it can't be speaking about death. A, because of the hekesh, and it's because of, it says ish ke'ite mumba misay. If you put mumba misay, you're going to pay money, you're not going to die. That's what we're holding so far. Now, shma mina mammon. Now, we said above, we should have said above, right? Now, what's the question you could have asked, guys, from this pasuk, right? Kakasha latana. My class is the yolfa mimaka behema leila from maka adam. In other words, why did you learn out? Just like maka adam, you get killed. So too maka adam, if you damage a person, you lose your limb, guys. Just like if you take a person's life, your life is taken. So too, if you take a person's life, a person's limb, your limb is taken, right? So maka adam for maka adam. Says amim done nizakin. I'd rather judge nizakin, damages from an animal, meaning of man, meaning nizakin from damages of animal. No, so I'm not going to learn out death to death. I'm going death to the limb from death to the person. I'm going to learn out damages to the person from damages to the animal. They ain't done in nizakin and misa, but I will not learn out nizakin from misa, even though they're both speaking about adam. Says Rabbi, done an adam adam ain't done an adam behema. Let's judge adam adam, just like you kill a person, so do you kill his limb, rather than what from an animal. Says and therefore the pasuk says because of this question, and if you have a question, it says like sikhu kaifer nefesh rotzeach ashehu to rasol lamos kinos yamas the nefesh rotzeach at the right like a kaich for the nefesh rotzeach at avol achul lekech the rashi varim sheinu chaysim. Okay, so lemaskana we learn out hakah just like an animal you pay damages if you damage, so to adam you pay damage. Okay. So the Gemara had a kasha. Let's learn out Adam from Adam. Just like Adam, if you kill somebody, he gets killed. So too, if he kills a limb, he should lose his limb, right? I learn out Nezikin, Adam is stronger than Adam from Behema. So now we said that by Reitzeach, you don't take money to get a Reitzeach off the hook. You will take money to get a damager off the hook.
Yes, it doesn't fit into the base.
Yeah.
No,
Fred the Gemara now. That nefesh reitzeach, that pasuk comes to go ahead and be memayet rasha evarim. In other words, that if you go ahead and take off a person's limb, you don't pay. That's what the limud is. I need that pasuk for something else. If a person kills somebody and damages him, right? They don't go ahead and do two things. Like tishkol mine mamin v'taktule. Don't go ahead, basically don't say kam lebi the rab mine. So I need to say, don't take money, just kill him. Don't take money, just kill him. It says, Mahai michtei rishiyasei nafka. That I learn out from Kedei rishiyasei, mishum misha achas atam b'chayv v'in b'chayv mishum shtei rishuyas. Again, the din of kam lebi the rab mine. So therefore, v'katimi boile the kamar achmana le'sishkol mamin v'tifterei. I still need it for limri. I need it not to teach me Rosh Evarim. I need that the guy can't buy his way off the hook. If he killed somebody, he can't buy his way out. That's why Cain, if that's all it was coming to teach me, that he can't buy his way out, the Torah should have written like Sikhu Kaifer La'asher Hu Rosh Lamas. Why did that? You don't have to say the word Nefesh Reitzeach. Like don't take Kaifer La'asher Hu Rosh Lamas. The Nefesh Reitzeach Lamali Shma Mina Nefesh Reitzeach at the Lekeach Kaifer at the Lekeach Kaifer Rosh Evarim Shein Chaysim. Okay, so now you have Right, the Gemara, v'chim yachad eksiv le'sichu kleifer maka maka lamali. So very geshmak, guys. We learn out maka maka. We learn out from behema, correct? Just like a behema you pay, there you pay. Good. Why do I need that? You just told me the answer. I won't take money for a roitzeach, but I will take money for a limb. So you have your limud. So why do I need one? I have one already. You can't buy your way out of Misa, but you could buy your way out of a limb, which is what we want to know. But we didn't learn from there. We learned that avoided a question. We had a hakah from Makkah to Kiyite Mumba Misa, correct? Why do you need a limit of Kiyite Mumba Misa for Makkah of an animal? You don't need that. You have from the Pasha of Reitzeach. That's the Gemara's Gavaldiga Kasha. Ma Makkah behema teshlumin af Makkah says the Gemara. I'll tell you what. Amri, ime hai. If I would just have from Reitzeach, Havamina, iboy einon yasiv, iboy demei einon yasiv. Right? If I want, I have a choice: money or I. Either way. Kamashmalim behema. Ma Makkah behema teshlumin dafka teshlumin af Makkah adum teshlumin. In other words, my only source was Reitzeach. I would have said, well, I have a choice. I don't have to pay money. Let's say I want to give my eye. No, you don't have that. I'd say, okay, give the eye. Therefore, the limit of Makkah ben Nefesh tells me just like Behema is only money, so to Makkah Adam is only